USD 393 update on Eagle Community Television is brought to you by Solomon State Bank, with locations in Solomon, Abilene, and Salina. Go Gorillas! Solomon State Bank, member FDIC. Bush's Market in Solomon, your hometown market supporting the Solomon School District and the community. City of Solomon. The City of Solomon is a huge supporter of USD 393 and all it does for our community. And Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome to Solomon Schools USD 393 monthly update. We welcome you to the end of the semester. It's hard to believe that it's already come, and it won't be too long and we'll be celebrating Christmas and all the holiday time. So what we were here today, we're in the 456 area of our building, and this is new to us. We call it the upper elementary, and this used to be way back in the day. This actually used to be the high school many years ago. And then last year it was our middle school, our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade middle school. This year, we've converted it to a 4, 5, and 6 upper elementary, and during the update this month, you're going to learn a little bit about all the things that are happening down here. As you can see, we've got quite a wonderland going on down here of all the projects that are related to school learning. From our science room, which has the Crystal Emporium, to our first graders that talk about gingerbread houses and the math concepts that go into making a gingerbread house. So today, we hope that you can sit back and learn a little bit about what's happening in our 4, 5, 6 area, as well as we don't want to leave out our junior and senior high. We're going to learn a little bit about what's happened the first semester with them as well. So when we come back, we're going to have with us our elementary principal, Mrs. Shaylin Wooster, and our high school principal, Mr. Dustin Dooley. Welcome back to Eagle Communications monthly update of Solomon Schools. With me today is Shaylin Wooster, our elementary principal, and Dustin Dooley, our junior senior high school principal. This year is a little bit different. Last year we had a K-5 elementary school. This year we're at a K-6 model. And we've sort of dissected our elementary school into 2 sections. We have a K-3 section and then a 4, 5, 6 section. And currently you just saw what the hallway looks like in our 4, 5 section. Our 4th graders get lockers and a hallway and all the excitement that goes with that. And so with that has been some unique challenges and some things that have gone on in our school that we think has actually created a new fever amongst it, and it seems like it's really helped out with our 6th graders sort of fitting in, and now they're sort of the leaders of our 4, 5, 6. And so today we're going to talk with Mrs. Wooster a little bit about the changes in elementary school and some of the things that they're doing. Mrs. Wooster, I know that we've incorporated a little bit of a character within our elementary school. You want to talk about our character program?
We have. We've started a second step program that is K-6, and weekly the teachers go over a social emotional type curriculum that teaches kids how to deal with things, that they may encounter in the hallways, in the classrooms, out on the playground. It's a pretty unique program. They're given all the resources. There's activities to do with it. And I've noticed a lot of kids, they'll talk about, well, I learned this in second step, and I figured out how to deal with that. I took some deep breaths. So that was kind of a nice aspect of that curriculum that we've added. Along with it, we've done character cards that the kids, when the teachers see them showing good character, being responsible, helping out students, they get a character card. They bring it into the office and they get to put it in for a drawing, and then they get some prizes. And going next year, we'll have a sign on the wall that they'll get to sign, and we're hoping to fill that up and show the community what good character we have here within our school.
New Commissioner Watson, one of his focuses this past since he's taken over as commissioner has been to look at soft skills. When they visited the businesses, they said how our students might be lacking the soft skills, and character is one of those. And so we've really placed an emphasis on when they get here, trying to get them ready to be learners. Then once we've got the character down, we're getting them ready to go and to become learners in the classroom. And one of the other areas that really helps them, and one of the reasons for the shift to continuing with 6th grade into the elementary school, is our MTSS program. And that allows us to do a lot of things for students. You want to talk a little bit about what, first of all, tell them what MTSS it really stands for, and then a little bit about our program.
Okay, MTSS stands for a multi-tiered system of support. We all know that kids learn differently, that not all kindergartners are at the same spot for reading. Same thing with sixth graders. There's still sometimes those specific skills. So MTSS, we test the kids 3 times a year to see where they are at for themselves, to see if they've made improvement. It's not comparing them necessarily to someone else, and then they can work on those skills, be it reading comprehension, be it fluency on how well that they are able to say the words. And then 30 minutes every day they go into specific smaller groups where they can get that intensive instruction. Some of them get one-on-one instruction, and they are able to progress and eventually move to different groups, but at their own rate. Right now, we're only able to do that for reading. Math, we would like to be able to get that into the school day, but as of right now, we're just not able to, because we do know that there's some areas in math, and so we try to work on that within the regular classroom right now. But MTSS, there have been a lot of gains that we've been able to see here in the past few months, and I'm looking forward to in January when they test again to really be able to see that growth that all the kids have been doing.
One of the great things about MTSS is the fact that it does target the individual learner, which is another focus that they're trying to get, is to where everybody has a learning plan. And that's the great thing about MTSS, is we're trying to push them to new heights. Yep. If they are advanced as a kindergartner, we're going to push them and try to push them as far as they can be pushed, and to help the other ones out that need the help. Now, we know it wouldn't be an elementary school without some of the fun learning activities that we do. And it is the holiday time. And so as you saw in the hallway when we opened up, it looks like a winter wonderland out there. Tell us a little bit about your door decorating competition.
Yes, I encouraged the staff to do a door decorating competition with the help of their students, and I had no idea where some of the staff would take this. In my mind, I thought just the door, but like Mr. Cope said, we've got a winter wonderland down here. And many of the classrooms, I enjoyed seeing the teachers integrate in what they were learning in the class. For instance, my first grade did a gingerbread house, just like my fourth and fifth grade down here, but they did a candy cane that you had to guess how many, based on the stripes, how many kids liked sugar cookies. There was some work with some of the words they were doing at MTSS for some of the candies on there. Science. The science teacher, Mrs. Martin, did some experiments to see what the best way to form crystals, and then they put that on the door. So not only was it fun and festive for the holidays, but teachers took it to a whole new level, integrated in the academics, and we had some pretty excited kids when we announced some winners today. So I think it definitely brought the holiday spirit to the K-6 area.
You know, and that's one of the things we can for some of us it was a long time ago, but we can think back to elementary school and think of those special projects that ties the learning into it. And the holiday season is a great opportunity for those such learning opportunities. So now we're going to shift gears a little bit, so excuse us as we switch the microphone across. But now we're going to switch to the junior senior high school and Dustin Dooley. And welcome, Mr. Dooley. And one of the things that we talked about with the commissioner with the elementary school in our second step in our character, one of the other things is that we found that Commissioner Watson found out in his trip across Kansas was the fact that we needed to find a way to give back to communities and to sort of teach citizenship and to sort of teach that there is a sense of community and giving back to your community. And so tell us some of the things that we've sort of started this year and done at the high school level to sort of target that.
Certainly. Probably the biggest event that we have had as far as giving back service is our National Honor Society of about 12, 13 members formed and put together a service learning project here in the community. And we did that right before Thanksgiving break. And we had all of our junior and senior high school students split up with different teachers different sponsors, and throughout the community. Went to the elderly, went to Heritage Manor, which is a senior living center, and raked leaves, cleaned windows, and did anything else for those people that they needed. And then actually came back to the school and helped clean up, pick up trash, and do things here at on our facility. In addition to that project, we've also had a canned food drive with our National Honor Society put on, and we've had several boxes of food, cans of food, and we'll be able to give those out to anybody that needs those for a little extra support over the holidays. In addition, our 7th grade Family and Consumer Science class did a warm clothing drive, warm coats, and collected those, so we'll also be able to donate those to Goodwill or to any other families that need that. So those soft skills that Commissioner Watson and Mr. Cope are talking about, those are things that you don't necessarily learn academic-wise in the classroom, and by putting on these types of projects, we're teaching our kids to give back. So it's been a good couple weeks or couple months of doing that, and we'll continue to do that.
That is so important, because teaching them just how to be good citizens, because when they graduate here, not only do we want them to be employed and to be able to pursue college if they so desire, or to go out and work right away, but we also need to understand to be a part of a community. It takes, as they say, it takes a village to raise a child, and that's part of the philosophy. And so hopefully they understand the message and give them back. And so one of the things is that we just talked about a little bit and sort of lead into the fact that not everybody's college and career ready, and that's a buzz term out there right now in Kansas education. But one of the other things is that we also need them to explore avenues that they might be ready to go into immediately upon graduation. So there's great opportunities out there in career and technical education, to where when they graduate from high school, some of them could graduate with an associate's or with a certificate. So tell us a little bit about your career and tech ed program and what's been happening at Solomon.
Sure. Well, two things kind of lead into the career and tech ed program. First is a personal plan of study, and each of our students, 7th through 12th grade, has an individual plan of study in which we kind of monitor and track their career interests, their extracurricular activities, their grades, their assessment scores, and we're still in the process of developing a way to embed those into our everyday curriculum as far as advising students with those, and it's kind of in the infant stages, but that'll give us good data going forward of what kids will be successful for when they leave our walls. As far as our career and technical education program, as Mr. Cope said, not all students will go to college. Not all students will necessarily even go to a technical school. Some might go to the workforce right after high school. And we have a partnership with Salina Area Technical College, and we have approximately 4 or 5 students each year that attend a program there. And most of them, after their senior year, will graduate from Solomon High School as well as Salina Tech with a certificate and be able to go to the workforce right away. Here on campus, we have 11 different career and technical education pathways in the areas of family and consumer science, agriculture, business, and technology. And that's something that we've expanded and will continue to do so. And the biggest things with those classes is giving those kids the skills they need when they leave here to be successful in that certain area, whether that be agriculture or business or technology. And just recently, last week, in fact, we had an advisory dinner, which we had about 11, 12 community members, not necessarily community members, but leaders of local businesses come and visit with our career and tech ed teachers and look for ways that we can partnership with them to involve them in our school, to ask them questions about what our kids need to be prepared for, what skills they need to have, what are they looking for as employers. And it was a great evening. We got some good ideas and hopefully some partnerships formed.
You know, I think that is key, is branching outside of our walls and to use those resources to help our kids be successful once they leave Solomon schools. So right now we're going to take a break, and when we come back, the best part of our job is the students. And so you're going to get a chance to witness live 5th grade science. And so hold on for a second and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the final session and section of our 393 update. And this is the best session because guess what? We get to find out a little bit more about science. And we're so excited about our science program here at Solomon because it's unique. We get K through 8th grade science, which is not unusual, but what's unusual is that our kindergartners even get to come to the lab and do experiments. And so we're so excited. Today we've got 5th grade students here. We've got Evan Thompson and we have Catherine Ford here, and they're going to do an experiment while Mrs. Martin, our science instructor for K through 8th grade. Yes, K through 8th grade science instructor. And so I'm going to ask her a question here. How do we come about all this?
Well, I've taught science previously in the elementary in Salina, K-5, and I saw how valuable that was and how that really benefited the kids. And whenever I came out to Solomon, I noticed that it was really hard for the classroom teachers to get science into the regular everyday curriculum. And so Mr. Cope and I spoke about that, and I was teaching 4th grade at the time, and we had the junior high teacher retired, and so they came to me and asked if I'd be interested in doing junior high, and I was, and then we added on the K-5 kids as well so that we could get them started in science a little bit earlier.
When we're so excited, we went with the FOSS kits, which is great because right now what you see is they're doing an experiment and all the materials that are needed are in the FOSS kits. And so I'm going to sort of step back for a minute and let Mrs. Martin tell what's actually going on in front of us here.
All right, so these are our 5th grade students, and they're currently studying mixtures and solutions. And they had a saturated solution. And how'd you guys know that it was saturated?
Because of all the salt that was on the top and all the water that was on or all the salt that was on the bottom and all the top that was on, or all the water that was on the top.
And the water was what color?
Clear.
Okay, so we knew it was saturated, and so they don't know what solid was in it, and so they filtered the solid out, and what's left is just the saturated solution then, and they're able to then weigh it and be able to tell by its mass what solid was added. So how many gram blocks did we start with?
We started with 50 because of all the water, and all the water in there was 50 milliliters.
And 50 milliliters equals?
50 grams.
Okay. And so then they know that 50 milliliters of water equals 50 grams of water. And so then they can add that up, and then they'll be able to subtract the total from 50, and then they have a chart that they can look at and tell what solid they have then.
And that's probably the best point right there, is that now you're incorporating science and math together. And that's probably the thing that when she came to me with the idea and we got so excited about it was the fact that, finding a way, as we learned earlier today about our MTSS, and not having the time or the resources, unfortunately, for many reasons, to incorporate MTSS math. Combining science and math together, we're going to see huge strides and gains in our math as well as our science. And anytime you can see an increased interest in science, you're going to see an increased interest in school, an increased interest in our math scores. And we're just so excited that they get an opportunity to come in here and do not only the lab work, it's hands-on learning, but also then it comes with all the materials that are needed within the lessons themselves. So tell me Catherine, what's the best thing about coming to science in the lab here?
I get to do a lot of experiments.
You like the experiments, huh? Mm-hmm. Pretty cool, aren't they? Would you say that science is one of your favorite classes?
Yes.
It is, huh? Now, did we twist your arm and make you say that?
No.
Okay, all right, good. Mrs. Martin, anything else you'd like to tell us about your science curriculum K-8?
I've just really enjoyed getting to do science K-8 this year. I think it'll be really beneficial for the K-3 kids because they're getting some more science than they have in the past. And then once they get up into the 4th grade, then they'll have some more of a baseline and a background, and it won't be as hard to go into some of the more in-depth science experiments and things that we I would like to be able to do with them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Good. And the last thing I want to point out is that every 7 years we review standards. And one of the things that have changed is they're called Next Generation Science Standards. And the Next Generation Science Standards are a little bit different. There's a lot more critical thinking to them. You got to think outside the box a little bit more, a lot more experimentation. A lot of those things that it's not as if when we were in school to where it is the definition of a plant is what. Those makeups, it's completely different. And so one of the great things about going with the FOSS kits is the fact that they do include the experiments with them. And the other great thing, and we need to brag on Mrs. Martin a little bit, is the fact that she is Next Generation Science Standards trained. And so we're excited for her to bring that knowledge and resource to our classroom. So I'm going to tell you, this is the best part of being a superintendent, is to get to see the kids actually engaged in working in whatever it happens to be. And for this part, happens to be science. So for myself, Justin Cope, superintendent, for Mrs. Martin in the class, we thank you for visiting USD 393, and we'll see you next month.
USD 393 Update on Eagle Community Television is brought to you by Solomon State Bank, with locations in Solomon, Abilene, and Salina. Go Gorillas! Solomon State Bank, member FDIC. Bush's Market in Solomon, your hometown market supporting the Solomon School District and the community. City of Solomon. The City of Solomon is a huge supporter of USD 393 and all it does for our community. And Eagle Communications, our community connected.